In this video, we will orient you to the goals component of the teacher evaluation system. By the end, you will be familiar with the two types of goals, how each is set, and what makes each type complete, and how each is measured during the fall and spring evaluation cycle. Goals are one of three components of your evaluation. They capture the what of your work, the most important outcomes that you are working toward. Teachers have 3 goals total, and they fall into 2 types. First, you will have 2 performance goals that are focused on student outcomes. These are measuring the impact of your teaching across the year. Second, you'll have a learning and development goal that is focused on your own growth around a core or TSF competency in which you want to develop. Because performance goals are about school-wide student outcomes, they will be set for you, and your job is to understand them and how you will be measured. Because learning and development goals are about your own development, you will have a hand in building it. The next few slides walk through how each type is set, what makes each complete, and how each is measured. Let's look at how each type of goal is set, as the process is a bit different for each. Your performance goals are set by your Academy principal. They are built from student outcome assessments for your teaching role and written as end-of-year goals. Your learning and development goal is set collaboratively by you and your manager. It is specific to a core competency or a TSF indicator that you want to grow in. Your manager will hold the final decision on which indicator is chosen, but you will have input into what it should be, and you will help to define the strategies and milestones that go along with it. Now let's look at what makes each of these goals complete. Every goal, regardless of type, starts with the same foundation, and then each type adds its own elements. The foundation is that every goal should be SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. It should also be tied to quantifiable data so that it can be measured objectively. From there, the remaining parts to complete a goal are a bit different based on the type of goal. All performance goals also have a fall benchmark and a spring benchmark, which anchor your expected progress and make the goal measurable at each evaluation cycle. All learning and development goals include strategies that you will use to fuel your growth, as well as 3 fall milestones to make that goal measurable at the fall evaluation cycle. We will walk through an example of each on the next few slides. Let's start with the performance goal statement itself. Your principal writes this as an end-of-year goal, aligned to a student outcome assessed for your role. This statement is the target you are working toward by June. In this case, it is the percentage of students in this teacher's classroom who are meeting their DIBELS growth goal. On the next 2 slides, we will look at the fall and spring benchmarks, which will tell us whether you are on track to reach the goal. First, let's look at the fall benchmark for this same goal. Your principal sets a Q1 or fall benchmark that represents on-track progress at this point in the year. Your follow-up evaluation score on this goal is based on the percentage of the fall benchmark you achieve. So the benchmark is not just a guidepost, it is the measuring stick for your fall evaluation score. Here is the spring benchmark for the same goal. As in the fall, your principal will set a Q3 or a spring benchmark, and your spring evaluation score will be based on the percentage of that benchmark you achieve. Together, the fall and spring benchmarks turn your end-of-year goal into 2 measurable checkpoints, one for each evaluation cycle time period. Performance goals are measured the same way in both cycles, against the benchmarks for the goal. In the fall, your score is based on the percentage of the fall benchmark you have reached. In the spring, the percentage of the spring benchmark you have reached. That is why the benchmarks matter. They are the basis for your score. Your rating moves from not on track to almost on track to meet to on track to exceed, depending on the percentage of the target you achieve. Now let's walk through a learning and development goal one piece at a time. A learning and development goal has three pieces. The goal statement, which names the competency area, the indicator, and your target level. The strategies you will use to grow on that indicator, and 3 milestones drawn from those strategies to support fall cycle measurement. Let's take these one at a time. Let's start with the goal statement. Learning and development goals all follow the same three-part structure. First, you name the competency area you are focusing on. Then you name the indicator of focus within that competency, which is the specific thing you are working to improve on. Then the goal statement itself follows a consistent pattern. By spring 20X, my performance on this indicator will be at A, as measured by my spring evaluation rating. So unlike a performance goal where the statement is about student outcomes, the L&D goal statement is about reaching a target rating on a specific indicator as measured by spring evaluation. Here is that same three-part structure with a sample learning and development goal based on a TSF competency. The competency area is student thinking, the indicator of focus is active learning, and the goal statement follows the standard pattern. By spring 2027, my performance on the active learning indicator will be a 3, as measured by my spring evaluation rating. Unlike performance goals, this is not written as an end-of-year goal. It is anchored to your spring evaluation score. Next is the part of your L&D goal that we define as the strategies, the specific thing you will do to grow on this indicator. What actions would support you to reach the target level in your goal? In this case, a level 3. These actions are your strategies. The last component of the learning and development goal are the 3 milestones. Milestones are drawn directly from the strategies that we just defined. Each one is a checkpoint that shows you are doing the work of that strategy on a timeline that will allow you to stay on track. Another way to think about a milestone is what should be done by the fall evaluation time point to be on pace towards this goal. Each milestone here maps back to a specific strategy that we looked on the prior page. These 3 fall milestones are what your fall evaluation on the learning and development goal will be measured against. One quick note on spring measurement of learning and development goals. Because the goal statement is already written as by spring X, my performance on this indicator will be at a level Y. The spring target is built right into the goal statement. There is no need to establish a separate spring benchmark like we did for the performance goals. In the fall, we aren't scoring the final target outcome. Instead, we are looking at milestone progress and trend data. Did you hit the fall milestones that were set for your learning and development goal during goal setting? Is there trend data available? And if so, what does it tell you about whether or not you are on pace to meet your learning and development goal? Using both milestone progress and trend data gives us a more realistic picture of progress at this early point in the school year. In the spring, your learning and development goal is measured against the target outcome as stated in the goal.